Shabbat Shalom. It's Friday again, and this time it's Parashat Nitzavim-Vayelech. The world is a busy place. There's a lot going on, and as humans, we are always trying to make sense of it. Whether we're trying to make sense of our immediate surroundings, whether today, especially with our awareness of international news, awareness of history throughout the ages, humans are always trying to figure out what's going on. And Moshe Rabbeinu in our parasha comes along and says something I think very, very important. There's a pasuk in our parasha that goes the following: Hanistarot l'Adonai Eloheinu, v'haniglot lanu levaneinu ad olam, la'asot et kol divrei haTorah hazot. Hanistarot means those things that are hidden, seter, are for God. In many ways, what this means is that there's a whole realm of secrets, of things that you cannot understand, and we leave those to God. Hanistarot l'Hashem Eloheinu. V'haniglot, but things that we can understand, lanu levaneinu ad olam. They are for us. They are for us more than that, to continue to explore, to delve into, to pass on from generation to generation. This is our tradition. La'asot et kol divrei haTorah hazot, to keep the mitzvot, to keep this tradition going and to delve into it from all the different perspectives, all the different potential understandings that we might be able to have. I feel like this idea, it's a hard pill to swallow, because we always want to understand. As my 3-year-old daughter constantly asks, Aval lama? But why? Why? Why is the sky blue? Why do people die? Why do people go? Where is he going? What's going on? The question, the query, the curiosity is the human condition. We are constantly trying to figure out, but why? Where? How? What's going on? And Moshe Rabbeinu comes along and says, you know what? There is an element of sometimes we just will never know. There are some things that are just beyond us, some things that we cannot understand. And despite that being a hard thing to accept, to a certain degree, it is integral to a deeper understanding of the nature of the universe. The universe and God don't work. What does that mean? By definition, there is a paradox in creation itself. God is infinite. He has no beginning, he has no end, he is beyond time, he is beyond comprehension, in essence. He is infinity. The world is finite. The world very much is a series of cycles of nature, and there is a very clear structure. There is a beginning, there is an end, there is creation, there is destruction. Everything, indeed, has a beginning and an end. How can the infinite create the finite? How can there be such a thing as finite if there is infinity? And how can there be such a thing as infinity if there is a finite world? These questions are in many ways going to the very, very depths, plumbing the very, very depths of Jewish philosophy. And each one of the different branches in Jewish philosophy will try and grapple with these issues, whether it's Kabbalah and Chassidut, talking about Tzimtzum and all sorts of different other Kabbalistic terminologies, or whether it's the Maimonidean theories and Moreh Nevuchim and all sorts of other places where the rational are trying to understand how that works, what does that mean. But either way, these are questions that plumb the very, very heart of this annoying conundrum. Why are there secrets that I cannot penetrate? Why are there things that I cannot understand? And the answer is, Hanistarot l'Hashem Eloheinu. There's a great other pasuk that says, Hashamayim, Shamayim l'Hashem, ve'haaretz natan livnei adam. God created the heavens. The heavens belong to God. The heavens, to a certain degree, represent infinity, right? To infinity and beyond, right? You keep going in the heavens and it keeps going up and up and up and up and up, and to a certain degree, into future galaxies, and for all intents and purposes, for us, that is infinity. V'haaretz, but the terra firma that we stand on, haaretz, natan livnei adam, that is human, that is a human realm, that we can try and figure out what's going on. My teacher, Rav Yoel Ben Nun, has a beautiful reading of that on the very first pasuk of the Torah. It says, Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. If I say God created A and B, I'd expect it to continue to describe, well, God created A is the following, and God created B is something else. But indeed, that's not how the pasuk goes. The pasuk goes, "Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz." The shamayim ve'et haaretz. Ve'haaretz hayta tohu vavohu v'chashav b'tov. And the land was XYZ. What about the shamayim? Where's the shamayim? Yeah, I'd expect Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. And then we go straight to talking about the haaretz. What about the shamayim? So there, my teacher says, Rav Yoel ben Nun says, Hashamayim, shamayim la'Hashem. God created the heavens, and the heavens are beyond us. The heavens are what the Gemara will call Ma'aseh Merkava, Ma'aseh Bereshit. These are the things that you can't even understand. They are beyond human comprehension. The secrets of the universe. And indeed, Vanistarot la'Hashem Eloheinu. But in addition to these kind of secrets of what came before the world, how can God create a stone that he cannot lift, and all these paradoxes and conundrums, how can the infinite and the finite coexist, and all of these, I think it also comes a bit closer to home as well. We live today in a period, especially the Jewish world, but not just the Jewish world, and especially the land of Israel, but not just the land of Israel. We live in a time of great insecurities, whether they are personal insecurities or actually global, international insecurities. The more we know, the more we realize that we do not know. The more we realize how many secrets, how many queries are there that we have yet to discover, yet to understand. As the famous philosopher Socrates is famously said to have said, the only thing that I know is that I do not know, right? The more knowledge you have, the more you realize just how much knowledge there is out there that you have yet to explore. Marbe dat, marbe machov, says Mishlei, the more knowledge you have, the more painful it is, because in essence you realize you know nothing. When it comes to especially current events, we're constantly checking for information, constantly getting more and more knowledge, dinging on our phone, updates, notifications. And yet at the end of the day, we really, nobody knows. Nobody knows what's going to be tomorrow. Nobody knows how it's going to actually play out. Nobody knows what the stock market's going to be like in another week, another month. Nobody knows exactly how it's going to figure out. And unfortunately, it's just something we live with. In our parasha, Moshe Rabbeinu gives us a way of dealing with it. Hanistarot la'Hashem Elokeinu. When there is a moment of nistarot, when there's a moment of hester panim, when God hides himself from us, hanistarot, va'anochi aster astir panai mehem. God goes into his murky, cloudy insecurity, for us at least. Understand, we don't know what's going to happen. We feel abandoned. We feel insecure. We feel anxious. That is la'Hashem Elokeinu. To a certain degree, Moshe Rabbeinu says, yeah, that's God's realm. Shamayim, shamayim la'Hashem. We can't worry about that. What can we worry about? Haniglot lanu ulvanenu ad olam la'asot et divrei haTorah azot. I see here two answers. The first answer is the answer of chinuch. Lanu ulevanenu. We have to focus on the here and now. Let's focus on what we can do. Let's actually educate ourselves. Lanu ulevanenu. Let's try and pass on the things that we do know. Let's try and make sense of the world as much as we can. Let's try and make sure that our next generation has every tool possible that we have gained from our tradition to pass on. But the second is la'asot et kol divrei haTorah azot. In a moment of anxiety and insecurity, the mental health professionals say the best thing to do is to act. If you're in a moment of trauma and you're frozen up, or someone around you is frozen up, the best way to solve that issue is to give them a task, an easy task, a clear task. Can you please call X? Can you please get me this book? Can you please, go and open the door? Whatever it is. And that very often will give them some agency that, yes, even though I'm staring up at the universe, at the conundrums of the paradoxes of infinity, and I'm like, I don't even know where to start. The answer is, start with the small things. Keep the mitzvot. Have a moral and ethical relationship with God and your fellow man. That's what you can do. That is the very best solution to this ancient conundrum. So again, I give us all a bracha that this week, Bezrat Hashem, Ma Yeled Yom, what will each day bring? Who knows? But to a certain degree, leave that to God. What are we going to do? We're going to focus on what we can focus on. We're going to do what we need to do. We're going to focus on Rosh Hashanah, the Chagim, Tshuva, focus on Chinuch, focus on educating ourselves and all our surroundings. And Bezrat Hashem, we will pass all of these things. Gamzei Avor, as Chazal say, indeed, Baruch Hashem, הנסתרות להשם אלוהינו, והנגלות לנו לבנינו עד עולם לעשות את כל דברי התורה הזאת. שבת שלום.